My new obsession over the last 10 months or so has been Warhammer 40k. There's a few new 40k games on the horizon. We have Dawn of War 4 and Total War 40k. I also just found out about Dark Heresy, which is a new CRPG from Owlcat Games. And I just dropped a reaction to the new Dawn of War gameplay that was released the other day. That's on my second channel. However, this channel is FPS focused, and seeing as I just played my first game of Warhammer over the weekend, after spending a painstaking amount of time painting my World Eaters army, seriously, fuck those trims. I figured why not hop back into Darktide, head back to Tertium, and engross myself in the grim darkness of the far future, because as we all know, in the 41st millennium, there is only war. Since I last checked in during the Battle of Tertium update last year and the launch of the Arbites class, Darktide has quietly received a pretty substantial amount of new content. Fatshark has added the Hive Scum as the game's second post-launch class, bringing dual-wielding weapons, customizable stims, toxins, explosives, and a much faster glass cannon playstyle. Alongside that came the No Man's Land update, introducing a brand new story campaign and operation that continues the narrative from the Battle of Tertium. Earlier in 2026, the massive Beyond the Hive update landed with Expeditions, a new replayable game mode focused on exploration, branching paths, randomized encounters, and roguelite progression, while also introducing new enemies, a complete rework of the Hive Scum talent tree, and another huge wave of balance changes across every class. On top of all that, the game has seen months of weapon balancing, quality of life improvements, live events, bug fixes, and performance updates, leaving Darktide in a much healthier state than it was when I last played, and especially since the game is launched. But the real reason I'm back is Darktide's newest class called the Qatari. Unlike the Arbites, who are all about riot shields, shotguns, and holding the line, the Qatari are cybernetically enhanced soldiers of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Fatshark has gone all in on this one, introducing a completely new radial talent tree that lets you build everything from a long-range marksman to a lightning-infused melee monster or even a battlefield support specialist. You'll also get access to an entirely unique arsenal, including things like the galvanic rifles, arc weapons, phosphor blasters, and transonic blades, plus customizable servo skulls that can revive teammates, shock enemies, or provide utility depending on your build. Even character creation has been expanded here, letting you customize your Forge World origin, cybernetic augmentations, voice modulation, and mechanical appearance. I'm still waiting for any sort of World Eaters representation in any of these games. I know people don't really relate to them, but my god, are they cool. So until then, I have to talk about the new Qatari class, with the defining mechanic being your servo skull, which acts as, a bunch of different things, an autonomous battlefield assistant that can be upgraded through different talents. So depending on your build, you can revive teammates with this thing, you can interact with objects. So as you're holding down waves and you might have to hack a bunch of different devices, you can just middle click, send the thing to do the hacking for you, and you can just focus on hacking down your enemies. It also provides a little bit of suppressing fire, although it's really not that useful. A lot of the enemies that you're fighting either die in one hit or you're fighting like big bosses. And so I guess a little bit of damage output there is okay, but mainly it's used as a utility for reviving and interacting with objects. A lot of your abilities revolve around electricity, so many talents in the tree can generate or consume electrical charges that then enhance your abilities. You can constantly cycle between things like critical hits, electrical procs, ability cooldown reductions, which to me just makes the gameplay loop a lot more active, and it's super fun to stun a bunch of enemies and then just beat the shit out of them. You also have use of the galvanic rifles, so headshots, crit hits, long-range play. Fatshark even had to work with Games Workshop to invent how the rifle reloads, because apparently there's no official lore that existed for the mechanism. I learned that while researching for this video. And so with all of that said, I think the new class is actually really cool, but a major criticism of Darktide and how they handle DLCs is the fact that it costs $11.99 to buy. So you buy the base game, which just recently went on sale. If you ever have a chance to buy this game on a sale, fucking buy it. But on top of that, when new classes come out, you also have to purchase the DLCs, and then there's also the class upgrades with all the different cosmetics and stuff like that, which definitely pisses a lot of people off. And look, I get it. Extra content being locked behind a paywall, people complain. I understand that criticism. That being said, I'm actually impressed with how much comes in this DLC pack. There's the Servo Skull, multiple viable playstyles, the radial class talent tree, which I think is a really good addition here, plus the customization options. If you're a fan of Darktide, I get it. Like $11.99, you buy it, you play the new class. A big criticism that the game had at launch was that there wasn't enough content, there wasn't enough classes, and they're basically following the same type of monetization that they did with Vermintide. So I guess it's not a surprise. I understand why people are upset by it. But for me, I long for the days of going back to, if you deliver me post-launch content, I will pay you for the post-launch content. To me, it's an incentive for the developers to actually put some fucking effort in there and make it worth the, $10, $12 that you're going to be paying for it. And I'm okay with that transaction as a consumer. I feel like the live service, the battle passes, all of this extra monetization and microtransaction have completely just spoiled the well. Give me extra content, I will pay you for extra content. It's starting to become a theme on this channel across multiple videos now. I lost 2025. There was a ton of games that I was playing, but about halfway through 2025, I had to shift focus, ramp up development, and get Transients over the finish line. And I've been spending my first half of 2026 slowly rediscovering the games that I kind of just left behind in chasing this game development dream. And in doing so, I picked up the Warhammer 40k hobby in the sparest of sparest time that I have, which is why it took me 10 months to build up a 2,000-ish point army. I've been getting a lot of shit in the comments recently for some of my sponsored content, from things like Arena Breakout to Delta Force to Once Human. And while this video isn't sponsored, I want to kind of make this video in response to a comment I got a couple of days ago from Mushroom by the Oak Tree. He says he gets why I do it, but too many sponsored videos lately. He's not a fan of the videos, but he says, show us something you're passionate about. And if I can be completely honest with you guys, I love video games. Specifically, I love shooters. I'm dabbling in other sorts of things. I'm looking at RTSs. I'm looking at CRPGs. But I've really fallen in love with Warhammer. The building of the army, the painting, the actual playing itself. It's so much fun. And I'm very early on in this hobby. But I wanted to make this video to kind of tie everything together. I know I have a fan base that loves 40k and Warhammer, and every time there's a new Space Marine game, which by the way, like Space Marine 2 is something that I didn't really appreciate when it came out. Like, it's a good game, it's fun, but I didn't really understand the depth of the lore and the world that Space Marine was kind of taking a part in. And every time we watch like video game trailer react shows and we do streams and there's a new Warhammer game, I didn't quite get it, but I knew my fans were excited. The audience would freak out every time I knew. Well, I remember when Darktide got announced. Fuck me. I didn't really get it. I had played Vermintide, but I wasn't really big in the Warhammer universe. But over the last 10 months, I have just found myself completely engrossed in this world. And I wanted to make a video kind of tying everything together. I've covered Darktide in the past. I absolutely love this game. And it also ties into the passion of the tabletop game itself. And so you wanted something passionate. This is just a small glimpse at something that I'm into that's outside of gaming, but I can find a very creative way to tie everything back together. Anyways, this video is not sponsored by anybody, but if you guys want to support the channel, please leave a like on the video and subscribe so you never miss any of my content. I'm hoping this video goes out before the summer sale ends on Steam. If you guys are PC players, the game is 75% off right now, which I think is a steal for a game like this. Everything about this Qatari class sounded dope, but I didn't know it until I jumped in and actually experienced it for myself. And it's safe to say this is actually really fucking dope. I'm still waiting for a game to encompass the World Eaters in any sort of capacity. Well, I think I'm going to be waiting a while. I hope they show up somewhere in Total War. I don't fucking know. I really just want a Blood for the Blood God, Skull for the Skull Throne, but, you know, People like relatable characters and shit, so I gotta wait my turn. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you indulging in my hobby for a little bit. If you play Warhammer 40K, I want to know about your army down below, and I'll see you on the next one.